Hey guys, this is Keith from Color of Coffee Collective and Coffee with Keith. I'm here at Doshi House with my good friend Deepak. Deepak, man, we just kicking it with you, having a conversation about this amazing coffee duality. Can you tell the people kind of how this all came about, and more importantly, a little bit more about Doshi House?
All right, man. Well, this duality is an exceptional blend that balances both a washed and a natural processed coffee. It sometimes in the world of coffee, blending those two, there's a lot of naysayers to it, but this captures both elements of the things that are opposite. So this I think really shines nicely with like the fruit forwardness from the Nicaraguan natural, and then you got the Papua New Guinea, which is just really unique because there's a lot of kind of natural tropical fruit in a very washed processed coffee. So we're super excited about it. Duality was a inspiration from one of our staff, Alex, and here it is, man. This is our new packaging,
which is dope, by the way.
Thank you guys, thank you. Tin cans, although very expensive for roasters to start manufacturing and using, is one of the most eco-friendly ways to package coffee. And what we wanted to do in this packaging is to capture the community, because it's really important that when people take and start to consume consciously, they pay attention to where it's coming from. And so this is the landscape of Third Ward. The coffee company, of course, Doshi House is our retail space, but the brand for our packaging and products is Emancipation Avenue Coffee Roaster and Tea Company, because we're on Emancipation Avenue. And the objective of this coffee is to be kind of a tool for really active programming while having badass coffie.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. This captures some of the bigger or notable institutions in the community: Shape Center, Project Grow Houses, Texas Southern University, University of Houston, and of course Doshi House. Now we've been around for 12 years in this space. The building has been here 96 years, and so we're happy to be able to keep the conversation going around what coffee is, and how it could become a tool for real social impact.
Absolutely.
Stuff we've talked about in the past. This is the design of the landscape of all things Third Ward. And if you come back, there's a one-time purchase of this can with the coffee, whole beans. If you come back, when the objective is to come back and we refill it for you with our locally roasted coffee, and it's a lot cheaper than the initial purchase.
That's dope.
So that's that.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And one of the things that I love about this, obviously the can is a throwback. It's almost an homage to, to coffee growing up as a kid with my grandmother. But then also, one of the things that I love too is the fact that it almost gives every detail of this community a shout out on the can, right? To say if you're buying coffee from anywhere else, why, right? And so can you speak to a little bit about like the importance of inclusivity in the branding of making sure that the community realized how important they were to you?
Yeah, I mean, we're here because of community. We are the fabric of, but we don't exist without.
Exactly.
And so it's really important that I think local institutions that play a role in community understand their place as a fabric of, and not an outsider. Otherwise, they won't succeed. And so we've been here now for a very long time when Third Ward wasn't the most attractive place to be, and but there's always been a history and a rich culture and a people that are hardworking and full of artists. And so like it's just to be honest and showing up in a very honest way. For the folks that have been Doshi House fans for a long time, we didn't always look this pretty and complete.
Exactly.
We've had holes in the roof, and we've had a long succession of getting to where we're at today, and it's been a ride, and you know some of it.
Of course,
right? And so, but the most important part is that as we grow, we got to make sure we're doing work that impacts community greater than just the individual cause.
I love that.
And so the bigger picture with our product is that it becomes a tool for microeconomy. And those dollars, part of it go to social impact work that we talked about this in the past, vocational training, creative conversations around food and beverage, since we are all plant-based. How do we engage the other local institutions that are focused around medicine or healthcare and say, hey, we become a tool and an advocate and a partner in bringing community together over food and beverage, because that's what we do every day.
Man, that's so dope.
Yeah.
You know, I want to speak to real quick because I get this conversation all the time, right? So, how does specialty coffee? You've been in this community for 12 years, and as you mentioned, you know, it hasn't always been pretty. It hasn't always been this unique. But being in specialty coffee in quote unquote the hood, right?
Yeah.
An underserved, underprivileged community, but yet you're able to maintain. Because I get this question all the time as to why would specialty coffee go to the hood? Do they have the discretionary income? But yet you are a testimony. Your shop is a testimony because you've done the work, you've built the relationships. But can you talk more about that, and especially to those people who may have always questioned whether or not specialty coffee could survive in the hood?
I think they need to separate two different things. Specialty coffee is an experience, and access to specialty coffee is the business.
Yes.
And so if you are looking at both of those things individually and saying, hey, you know what, coffee when it started wasn't so special. It was always so special, but it wasn't specialty as we know it today.
Right.
It started in very traditional homes, and now we're growing into a lot more kind of the technical elements of coffee that you got to look at those things individually.
Yeah.
So if you're pricing out your customer or not having an accessible product, that's a different problem than having specialty coffee. And so the work for a business owner or any small coffee shop that's focused around social impact is to say, how do we make our product accessible, and how do we make it as great as possible?
Yeah.
That's it. The two very individualistic things.
Yeah.
But when they come together, they work magic.
Man, that's
Right.
awesome.
And so anyone that's challenging the question around specialty coffee being not for a specific community, you're focused on one thing and not the other.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
So you can't title it all under specialty coffee not being for a community, because that's when you start making things non-inclusive.
Exactly.
And that's when you start limiting what people have access to. And that's how we lead into problems of not having access to grocery stores, to healthcare, to great food and beverages, to coffee. That's badass.
Yeah.
So, it's really important to pay attention to both those elements.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. Listen, before we close out, what last thing, because I can talk to you all day. Obviously, we do every week, it seems like.
Yeah.
But just for the people who may be watching this, what's some things that you want everyone to leave with, knowing about Doshi House and about future projects, and more importantly, how they can support what you guys are doing here at Third Ward?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in Houston, or if you're visiting Houston, come by and check out Third Ward.
Yeah.
Check out Project Row Houses, check out Emancipation Avenue Park, check out Shape Center, and come check out Third Ward and Doshi House. We, in supporting us and our community, we grow.
Yeah.
And so if you're not in our community or in the city, support your local coffee shop or your local restaurant or your local institution, and ask them questions as to how they are giving back or how they can, and be a part of that. Don't just ask the questions, but be a part of that.
Man, that's dope. Listen, and don't forget, guys, go cop this, man. Duality Coffee right here at Doshi House. Some of the best coffee around, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate your time.
Always. Thanks,
All
man.
right, absolutely.